You know what's sick?
What's that?
Is video games. And you know what also is very sick?
Ooh, I like video
is Marvel Ultimate Alliance Curse of Vampire. We're going to start with that before we get into the news. Because that is a spicy thing. I'm going to start off to say I loved it. I have some problems with some of the modes they put in, and Dylan's going to talk about that as well. But all the problems I have are so minor compared to what we got in this DLC. The Gauntlet can get really repetitive. I don't like the setup of sometimes it's like you got to kill like big boss battles, or you got to kill like they'd be cursed, and they're just like heavier tankier enemies, but it's like only 3 might pop up in a mission. Let's say you got to kill 30. I know exactly
what one you're talking about.
Yeah,
so you have to play through like 4 times.
Yeah, and there's so many, and when they have no cursed, no way to do this, so you just have to play all these missions. So I wish they kind of worked that better. I think they just made it that they wanted to do Infinity Trials but not do Infinity Trials, so let's do a spin-on. So whatever. I still like it. It's a way for me to grind, get XP, whatever. The mode I'm honestly most disappointed in is the Nightmare mode. It's a new game plus with just a little harder enemies, and they're cursed and they got vampire bites. Yeah, so it's fine, but I just was expecting... I wasn't expecting, because if you go back, I said they weren't going to do story mode, but when I saw Nightmare mode, I was like, oh, I was wrong. They did something. And then when I jumped in, it's like, play the game, but this time it's a nightmare. It's like, okay, you know, this would have more impact if we hadn't got a new game plus yet, you know, but obviously we already have that. But the big thing is the Shield Depot. That's really cool. Lots of fun stuff to buy there, and, you know, trading points I wasn't using. But the big stuff is the 4 characters. I like them all. I think they did really good with every single one of them. I think I'm the least impressed with Frank. I like him, but I just don't love all his moves, and I think it's also not a character.
He feels a little clunky.
Yeah,
I like all of his moves on their own, but feel like together they don't necessarily mesh super well at all times.
No, and I was really wanting, and he didn't get to be like that, how I always talk about it, so I'm broken record, but like how smooth Nick Fury and Marvel Ultimate Alliance one is.
I was really expecting him to have a move like that.
That's what I want. He's so smooth, just all his other moves. So I like him, but he's definitely clunky, like Dylan said. I don't know if I'm ranking them or whatnot. I don't think I will, because the top 3 are pretty tough. But Moon Knight and Morbius, I both love for different reasons. Moon Knight is Daredevil that I didn't get, because I like Daredevil in the game, but he doesn't feel as fast for me as I would picture Matt Murdock, where Moon Knight is crazy. His double jump is out of this world. He's a flying squirrel. You can just he's my new go-to guy if I want to. Next time I play like through the game, I'm going to get him so I can just go across maps as quickly as possible.
Oh, yeah.
I love his extreme. I love his moon slam.
His extreme is super trippy.
He has like 3 things where he'll like burst out, he'll do his little cross, and then he'll slam
got, like, that
down.
little theme on it. It's very like mystical. And,
Moon Knight, I absolutely love. Morbius is, I think, the most unique character in the game. I love he just has such different unique types. He has lots of fun attacks, but then also the freezing of enemies, or his like he has this like jump, this prowl, and he'll like bite people, and
just
then
like keep teleporting around.
Yeah, and then you'll just like burst out and hurt other enemies. He's very unique, very cool. I wasn't expecting to like him. I expected him to be ranked last, but the main event is, I was excited because of Mahershala Ali hype, but Blade is, and there's probably someone else that's gonna back me up on this. He's for sure in my top 3, but he's probably gonna be number 1, because I was liking them all. I really enjoy them to high levels, but Blade, the second I play with him, I was like, he's so smooth and he's so quick and he has everything I like. He feels like arcadey, like Wolverine with his attacks, but then he can be tactical like Cap when he has that shield throw that ricochets. He has that with his little gauntlet things. His extreme, I think is the weakest out of the 4 actually. It's cool, but it's just if a boss moves, it's just useless, so I kind of don't like that. But everything about him, his look, his double jump, his moves, he is so much fun to play with. I think they nailed that down. So I loved this DLC. I had problems with it. I think there's some kind of mess stuff, but honestly, for the price, it was worth it. I cannot wait to see what's next.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same boat with the characters. Blade is now officially my first level 100 character. Ooh. He's and I have to put him in that number 1 slot now. He is my favorite. As Travis said, like the movement on him is just so crisp. Like he just the basic thing he has, like when you use a move, he doesn't immediately pop the move. Like you just kind of walk around so you can like position it really well. It just feels like something that like every character should kind of have on like most of their moves, but it just makes it feel like you can be really precise with that character. But it also adds like this kind of this sneaking aesthetic that he has to him. But he looks badass. I love he has like such a good mix of moves. He's got the fast sword swipes and he's got like slower range moves and stuff. So
he's
just
the big shock, like the
and even his aerial attack is just like that nice. You like essentially, I don't know what he's shooting, like a cross or something, probably
some vampire,
something anti-vampire into the ground. So he's amazing. Probably my new favorite character. And Black Panther was my previous favorite, and to have them on the same team together, like they're just so badass together. It's pretty awesome. And then Morbius I like because he's just like so over the top. He's just like Wolverine, but with like a little more like crazy, a little more out there. But he's pretty awesome. And then as I mentioned with Punisher, I like a lot of his stuff. Like his extreme as well is just like really long as he shoots for a while. And then he takes out a grenade launcher, and then he takes out an RPG. And I think it's like the longest extreme attack in the game, but it just like fits perfectly for the character. I don't know. It's like a less serious kind of Punisher and more like a little bit goofy, and I'm kind of fine with it. I really like the sniper shot, and he throws out like the smoke bomb, and then he like kind of dashes forward and attacks people in the smoke bomb.
That's my favorite one.
It's a really cool move.
And he has synergies with a lot of weird people. Like I was playing with him and Thor the other day, and they are just popping off. I was like, this combo should not work, but it does. But I love that smoke screen. And he just comes out, and his slash. That's where this is a video game. The radius on that is massive. For just like this army little hand knife, and he just. It's like he has one of Blaze's katanas.
He's always holding a gun, right? So it's always just like his left arm, which you have to imagine is like his weak arm, and he's still just like destroying bosses with it. And then I guess Moon Knight. Moon Knight is the only one to me that I love aspects of his character, but I'm a little let down in some ways. I love the glide he has because it's a different take on a flight mechanic, and then it's cool because it doesn't take any mana up as you're flying around. I love his aerial attack as well. He throws his chain in the ground, like pulls himself down. It's pretty sick. And I really like his light attack because it's just like a 7 or 8 hit combo that's like, it feels like it's only 1 second long. Like he's just going ham, like anime style.
It's quick.
But I think what makes me feel a little let down is that his abilities I was a little bummed out on because I mentioned this on like our tier list episode that me, Travis, and Taylor did a few weeks ago. That there is a lot of maybe like cookie cutter or like more.
All the heavies have that grab someone and smash.
Yeah, like there's like set moves, and they did that so that they could have the in-depth synergy system they have, and I think it's a trade-off that works to the game's benefit, but there is a couple characters that do feel a little bit more formulaic because of that. Like I think for the main like base game, like Gamora and Drax to me feel like very basic kind of characters. Like all their moves you can attribute to someone else, and unfortunately Moon Knight's abilities kind of feel like that to me, where all of his moves other characters have. He doesn't really have anything too unique going on other than like the glide mechanic. So I was a little let down by him, but otherwise I think the characters are great. I
will show too the two things I forgot about Moon Knight is one move I really dislike. I don't like his heavy because his quick attack is so fluid.
Yeah.
But then his heavy attack, he like literally has to step back and he takes the big spear. It just I think breaks up the flow. I like that you can at least like kind
of position it while you're using it.
Yeah, I just find with the powers and the quick it breaks the flow. But for some weird reason, I'm not a big fan of. Like, I don't like Punisher's dash shoot. I don't like Cyclops' jump back and shoot. But for some reason, I actually like his, like, throwing stars back up. I don't know why. I think it's a nice radius and it doesn't go back too far. Because I feel like he throws it and he flips quick and he's already on his legs. The other people...
fast,
like Cyclops and Punisher, I just feel like it takes so long animation. That's not the way I like. I like being fluid. So that move I really like, but the heavy I don't. I want to level him up more and see what it is.
Yeah, I definitely still like having him on the team. And his animations look so great,
and
like
he looks beautiful.
His crescent like upward strike just looks so badass.
Yeah, that
and
full
his extreme
suit,
attack, as you mentioned as well, is just might be my favorite in the game. Honestly, it's so trippy and weird.
I could agree with that. Have you seen anybody get a recolor for him yet?
I have. It looks really nice.
Is it gold?
It's black.
Oh,
it's
just Batman now.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Like the other three are kind of on the recolor status that a lot of the game, like base game characters have, but Moon Knight's looks really good.
Also, talk about the 4 costumes they had because we didn't talk about it on cast yet.
Well, while we're talking about the characters, Taylor, you just dipped into the DLC today. Have you tried any of the new characters yet?
I have tried.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but like
I've tried Blade and Punisher.
Nice.
I played through a bit of the Gauntlet, and I played through
the Gauntlet,
the Nightmare mode. I got up to like
You're playing Nightmare mode. You should have been playing the Gauntlet the whole time.
I didn't know which mode was to get the characters. I was afraid because I thought, if I asked him, Travis is gonna give me. Well, you should have been listening to the chat earlier. We talked about the other day, and I was like,
you'll send photos of Dr. Manhattan's dick all week, but then you won't even ask us a question about the Gauntlet.
Well, needless to say, I got a good experience with the Nightmare mode, so I can talk about that. Yeah. So, I do feel a little bit disappointed with the nightmare mode because I feel like how they've obviously amped up some of the enemies that you face off. I feel like they could have done a bit more because I didn't fully know what to expect in this DLC, and when I saw that they had that, I was like, oh, is this like an actual little bit of a story? Like, is this what has the characters attached to it? This is super cool. And so that was a little bit of a letdown, but I'm going to play through the whole thing anyways, regardless. But the Gauntlet mode, I really like. I think it's a lot of fun. I like seeing all these different like challenges that I can accomplish, and I like the ability of like trying to beat my score and just powering through it. I really got a kick out of when Blade doing his Gauntlet challenge, and you get to the top of Avengers Tower, and he's just up there. It just reminds me of like I was envisioning an MCU movie of Tony Stark like going up there, and like Wesley Snipes just sitting at the top of his
it's like Mahershala Ali now.
Yeah, like, why is Blade at the top of the Avengers Tower?
This Blade reminds me of Wesley Snipes' Blade, like just. And speaking of Blade, I absolutely love how he feels. Nice. He feels so good. Not even like 10 seconds in with this character, I was like, this guy just is like prime. Oh, yeah. And Punisher, I don't mind him that much. I think he's a lot of fun to use. I didn't know what to expect. So when I started attacking, he's just whipping all these fucking weapons. I was like, well, this is like 1 to 100 and I'm loving it. Yeah. He felt pretty smooth. And I mean, I can see what you mean by being a bit too clunky. To me, he feels like the Groot that we never got. I kind of like would have loved to see Groot and Rocket whipping out this kind of arsenal together. But that's okay. He's still a lot of fun.
Nice.
Groot and Rocket, notoriously the worst characters in the game.
Notoriously.
Yikes.
My opinion.
And so Briggs has finally played the game. We played through... We started on Nightmare Mode because I think that's kind of the best way for someone first starting the game because then we could experience the story. And we probably played for like 4 or 5 hours last night. You only played a couple of the DLC characters, but I don't know. What do you think of the game in general?
I enjoy the game. I think it's really awesome. I really like for the Nightmare Mode the way they have they just give random bad guys random auras. I think it's a good way to just change up the regular gameplay loop that you'd expect from a game like that, where it really makes you a lot pickier about like your team composition and whatnot, as sometimes like I'd say like the most impactful auras are like the gravity ones that like you're constantly being pulled towards that enemy, or if there's like a fire one so that enemy's constantly doing AoE damage, so you have to focus them down, that kind of stuff. I remember one fight the boss had a I think we were fighting Corvus Glaive, and he had the lava aura around him, and so it's like he's
already a hard enough boss.
Yeah, he's already hard enough boss, and then you try and like use mana with range attacks to try and to do a bunch of damage. Then once you run out of mana, you can't do range attacks anymore, so you have to go into melee range, and you're just constantly taking the lava damage, and it's like, well, shit, this is tough. Yeah. And it really it just adds another element to the game, which is really cool, and I think it's a great way to kind of make a more difficult playthrough rather than just beefing up the base stats of enemies and whatnot. So I really like that concept, and it was kind of cool to play through it with that as my first experience. So I'd be interested. I really want to try it just like on the regular mode now, just to see what it's like without all the hectic stuff going on.
It can really like especially in the small arenas, like it can just
definitely
mess you up. And especially like fights like Elektra or something, because in Elektra boss fight, she has like 3 little enemies that you have to take them out before you can deal like much damage to her. But since she has that aura that's pulling you in, it makes this fun dynamic where like you don't want to fight her at first, but she's always pulling you in while you try to take out her outlier homies. To me,
official name of those characters.
Yeah, I don't know, the hand ninjas,
the outlier homies,
the hand ninjas, I guess you could call them. I'm enjoying Nightmare Mode. I think it's just like adding a little bit more depth or a little bit mixed up to the formula. Just to make it a little bit more interesting to go back and fight some of these enemies and play through it again. And honestly, like even because Briggs is first experience in the game, so watching the cutscenes and stuff, I haven't watched those since release day, so it's fun to go through those again and just see them. And I mean, as cheesy as they are, and some of the fucking Gamora's voice actor, oh my god, it's so bad. But it is fun to go back and experience.
You always know when she's talking.
Yeah,
it's just like so different from the rest of it.
Phone that in easily. Any other points? I guess also was kind of like your favorite, which was cool because that's who you were excited for. Yeah, so it's good that
it's good to be like, I really want to play this character, and then it's like, I love this character. Yeah. So that was really awesome. And then like DLC characters.
You played some Morbius.
I only played Morbius out of them, but I absolutely...
We had Blade on our team the whole night.
Yeah,
as well.
we had Blade on our team the whole time. But you were playing him the whole time. It's just fine. But yeah, no, I like the... Morbius was really cool. I love the fact that you pointed out he just has this tiny ass cape.
Yeah.
And he's just like this he's like this really kind of like disgusting character, you could say. And then but
Looking
then
like
he's
Jackson
so like
from 2000s.
characterized and cheesy as with the rest of the game, like as the whole game is just very like caricatures and it's super cheesy. So it's like you have this like huge like menacing thing and it's like hunched over, long greasy hair and his face is all wrinkled and shit.
Yeah.
And then he just has this tiny cape and
Pure
this huge
white.
body and it's like it's so good. It just fits perfectly with the game. So
he's just flying around.
oh yeah, and like the moveset was super cool. The teleporting thing and then just like the petrifying gaze.
Yeah.
Very fun.
I like that. I want
Super
to
unique.
I want to upgrade him a lot because I always say I like having Scarlet Witch on the team because I don't play her that much, but as a CPU, she's just always constantly throwing
Dropping
out the
that heel,
heels.
yeah.
And I just want to get Morbius and get that all the way up because I want him on the team just constantly be like petrifying people and I can just pop off. So I'm excited.
Although I don't think
do
the
that.
petrifying works on enemies with a stagger bar.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's
No.
what I thought.
Yeah. But those goons, those
Gotta get the goons.
outlier homies.
Yeah, the
take them
Outlier
home.
homies.
Yeah.
Classic enemy
I got a
type.
question for you, Dylan. So you guys jumped into the nightmare mode.
Uh-huh.
Did you beef up Blade a little bit with cubes at first, or did you just go right into
So
that?
when I
with it
got
being level,
when I got the
level?
characters, they start at a range from like level 20
He's
to 30.
21, I think. Blade was.
Yeah,
you get.
Frank
I-
was 11.
So of those
Yeah,
of the
I was
4
like,
DLC
oh, wow.
characters, I pumped them up with cubes to get them to around 40 to
Cube Rider.
40 to 50 around that range.
Okay.
And then for the whole night, and like since I've had Blade, I just have had 4 XP ISOs on him. That's why he's leveling up so fast. And yeah, we had him on the whole session last night. Like we were
Okay.
switching teams around, but he was
went
on the
from,
whole
like,
night.
He got probably like 20 levels that night.
Yeah, because we had him on the whole night, and we had 4 XP ISOs on him. Then I have some team ones as well, so he's getting like plus 600% XP
shit.
or something.
Yeah.
So-
Okay, because I was curious.
It's worth
like,
it,
being level 21 and diving into that, I was like, "Holy fuck! Like that's
Yeah.
impressive." You guys, you got him to 100 with doing that. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, even
Jesus.
with the XP ISOs, like we had Drax on for maybe 20
I
minutes,
don't
and he
think
got
any
like
of us-
10 levels just from like these.
We
XP
weren't.
ISOs.
None of us were even playing him. It was just he was
He's
on
just chilling.
CPU the whole time, and
Just
he just got like
spinning
so many
around. We were
levels.
balancing bullets off him. Yeah.
He was popping off with some of those synergies. So
Yeah. The XP ISOs can do some crazy things, man.
I
so.
gotta get those. I only
Yeah.
got one that's at 100.
There's
but-
I
and you
only
can
got
get
one too.
and you can get a couple
Yeah.
that are team ISO, so they add XP for all 4 of your people. So it's like the 10 because you can get when you complete the energy hex, you get like 10% or something. But it's
Yeah.
like pretty much meaningless because all these ISOs give you like they start at 80 and you can upgrade them like around 100, or I think it is 100 where it maxes out. So yeah, you can really choose some XP and get some grinding out. So you definitely you just got to do like later level trials, and like in ultimate difficulty you'll get them as well, and probably in nightmare difficulty.
I imagine. Yeah, I would think.
Honestly,
so.
we're picking
we
up a
were-
lot of ISOs.
We got a
in
couple
Nightmare.
like double A ISOs, but not a lot.
I
was
had no idea what
surprised.
any of them were. So
Yeah, we were mostly getting smaller ones, but
There's a complaint I have that unless Dylan knows a way,
Uh-huh.
can you only deconstruct 7 ISOs at a time when you're clearing the menu?
I think it's 10. But yeah, the ISO management is a big problem. Like that's
Very
something.
shitty. As because
Yikes.
the other night I just filled up 1,000. I gotta clear, and
Yeah.
that's just like boom. So I gotta select them all. It's just like, and all these complaints, even with the Gauntlet, I have a problem. I love this game. It's probably my game of the year. It's just I have so much fun. I'm gonna play this game for years. But just little things like that where I'm like, man, I'm gonna take like 20 minutes, 30 minutes
Yeah.
just to sit here and get rid of these ISOs. Are you fucking kidding me? So I meant to at that night. And I'm like, I just stopped. I'm like,
It's-
I'm gonna wait till I have free
Yeah,
time.
It's what I've made a habit of doing is just like at the end of my session, whenever I'm playing, I just spend like it takes me only like a minute or two to go
Yeah.
through and delete all the bad ones. I just go in, I highlight all the D and C tier ones,
Yeah.
bottom ones, and I don't even look at them because they don't matter.
No,
I just
not
delete
at
all of
all.
them. So that's kind of what you have to do. I think I just do it a
I'm
little
doing
bit
it now.
Do it a little bit every night at the end of your
Yeah.
session or whatever, and then it really helps to
Yeah.
make it not as tedious to them. But that's something that they really need to change because as well, like the ISO still. If the text for the ISO like doesn't fit on the screen, it scrolls, even though there's tons of room that it could like just loop on
Yeah.
another line. So they need to fix those UI.
You guys
things,
can
I think.
update it. You guys update a lot. in
It's
this
so
game. Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how they haven't done it yet, but I don't know. I guess the rest of the update, like I like the Gauntlet mode, but I'm not loving it as much as I would. I like the endless aspect of it, and I like the mix-ups. I like the challenge. I like that there's kind of little stories tied on them too. But the big thing for me is just the load times, because you go into a level and then it's like, you know, there'll be a series of like 4 or 5 levels. After you beat one, you got to like
watch Endgame.
You got to
and come
hit
back.
A, and then it loads for probably 30 seconds or so, maybe 40 seconds, and then you got to hit A to go in. So yeah, every time after a level, you have to hit A twice if you want to continue. Unless you want to retire, then you only hit A once and then retire. But like there is always that 30 to 40 second load time after. Sometimes it's only like a 2-minute level, and it's just savage. Like I feel like I can't just sit down and play Gauntlet Mode. Like I need to have my phone on my side, screw around on Twitter or go on Discord or something, or like be playing next to my computer and I can do some stuff in the side. Like I feel like it's really hard with the load times to just sit down and play it.
Picking
and that's a big
stars
problem.
for the porn star Geek First Poll, you know.
Boom. That's what I'm doing. I feel like that's like the idea of that mode is that it's for like good end game content. You can, you know, get your streaks up. You can try to get like a nice high score in the rankings because you can compare against other players, which is fun. Shows to Travis for getting that #1 slot. For you probably don't have it anymore.
No, but I'm never gonna check again because until you update the rank, it stays at that.
Does
so
it?
it's just always gonna show me at #1 until I'm sure when there's updated game I'll lose it. But at one moment in whatever the third Gauntlet was, I was #1 in the world. I was like, yes.
The Moon Knight unlock.
Yeah,
probably,
yeah. But then later on, when I did
Punisher?
another trial just for one Gauntlet for like in the Avengers, it was like you're ranked 193. I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
I don't even want to check that #1. But at one point, I was first in the world.
Yeah.
So.
Did you take a picture of it?
Oh, of course I did. I sent in the group chat. They don't even fucking look.
You
And
gotta print it out and frame
the
it.
thing with those,
Oh,
you really
yeah.
should. You really should. The thing with those is that the idea of Gauntlet Mode after you beat it once is that it turns into endless mode. And you can keep doing it, but some of these, like, even just to get the challenge, like Travis was saying, like, to kill those 30 cursed, like, sometimes that takes, like, 40 minutes to an hour for one.
Yeah.
Just
And
doing
then-
one trial, which I'm fine with. I like it. But when you factor in that probably, like, maybe that's, like, 5 or 6 minutes of, like, load times or something. I don't know what it is. But you know, the idea of this endless mode is that sometimes it might take like 2 or 3 hours. If you want to get a world record, if you want to get that #1 slot, then you got to be playing that thing for hours. And so much of that is going to be load times that you can't skip in any way.
But that's the thing, even if you don't want the record, even if you just want those shield points to go buy the Thor costume, you got to beat these things. And the problem is if you die, which I haven't because I've been playing the easier ones, but it's still time consuming and I'm worried about when I get to the higher ones. If I die, you lose all that.
I have died a couple times after like a 20-minute run or something. And it's not really that frustrating, but it sucks that it's like I don't want to do this again right away because I know I have to sit through those load times again.
Oh, I know.
So
That's a big problem.
that's kind of my biggest complaint with the DLC. As for the gauntlets themselves, like there's kind of 3 phases of them, and some of them are like required level 120. So I'm not even like Blade is my highest at 100. So I still need to do some grinding to do them all, which is cool. I like that there's more endgame content on top of that. Obviously, I just kind of mentioned that, but they increased the level cap to 150 from 100, so that's...
Just when you get to 100.
Yeah, I know.
I've made it to the mountaintop. No.
Yeah, I mean, I never really made it my goal to get all the level 100s. That didn't really interest me. Just the
Shout out to
grinding of
Clay, who has 5 level 100s.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's impressive.
Good job, Clay.
Well done.
What else is there? There's 4 new costumes, like full-on costumes, like retextures and everything. And then there's, I think, I want to say around 10 like recolors. So some of them are for the costumes. Some of them are for the August costumes. Particularly the Red Hulk one with like the Planet Hulk looks really sick. So
Very cool.
even they did really good job with the recolors here, and they have the kind of an Iron Spider one for the Symbiote Spider.
Yeah.
And then they have recolors for the Marvel Knights as well. So a good amount of costumes, and the Shield Depot, as Travis mentioned, just like a new shop in game, which I really like. It's just you can buy voice lines, you can buy costumes, you can buy like some Cube Rider XP cubes, you can buy all sorts of stuff.
Unlike the ISO's good menu, you know, it's just sync 2 tabs. Here's your money. Here's this. Go, you know, and I think things are priced reasonably. Where shield points are, you get a lot of them in the Gauntlet mode, so it's not like when a suit is 400 shield points. But at one point I had like 1,200. I was like, okay, I can buy this and not
I like
feel like
it too
I've lost.
because there's a couple things like the DLC that came out in August, like to get the Captain Marvel costume, like to beat that level, or I guess to get the Spidey costume, you have to get all the stars. And that's pretty hard to do. Like you need to have high level characters, probably around like level 90 to beat some of that stuff. So not everyone can do that, and not everyone wants to because they haven't grinded or played the game. They just want to get the costumes. And I think this is a good way where you can get whatever costume you want just by playing some lower level stuff, and you can pick what order you want to get the costume in. So I think it is a good way to do it.
You can just buy the Symbiote Spider costume there?
Well, of the new
Depot?
costumes I'm talking about.
Costume.
Like,
Okay, yeah.
For all the costumes that are in the base game, you still got to get to high enough level.
I thought I missed that. Okay.
But I think you can... I'm not going to confirm, but I think you can... Or have you checked? Can you buy the Spider-Man costume?
No. like the recolor of the symbiote? No, because
It's
I
not
haven't
available?
unlocked it yet.
Okay,
No,
so you need.
yeah.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
that does change things a little bit, but at least you can pick between like the new costumes if you want to order them. And I think they did a good job. Like the Cap one, at first I thought it was a little lame, but in game it's really cool because he has like a
Oh,
holographic
yeah.
shield. What's that costume called?
What is it? It's something agent. I'll look it up. But did you do the recolor of it?
It's like a red variant.
I love
right?
the
It looks cool as
recolor,
well.
yeah.
I haven't bought it yet, but it looks really nice.
It's almost my go-to now because I like the class one. It's just like the movies, but that recolor one is something spicy.
It
But
is
yeah, I'll
pretty
get the
good.
name of it.
And then they added Ultimate Thor, which is traditionally not my favorite look for
Yeah.
him, but at least it comes with Stormbreaker. So
Stormbreaker.
that's pretty cool that they gave him a different weapon for that.
Who was
Stormbreaker? I thought someone said something there.
I did.
You're whispering.
That no.
That went to my left ear, so I thought Briggs said something.
I
which is
said
why I got
perhaps my
confused.
favorite line in Endgame from Thor when
Yeah.
someone says who killed Thanos, and Rocket's like Stormbreaker, or what's his name? Who's the Rock
You're
guy?
butchering
Korg.
this.
He said who killed Thanos, and Korg goes Stormbreaker, and Thor just goes who was swinging Stormbreaker. I
Yes.
love it.
Good
Yeah.
job.
a
What
good
else
one.
you got? You get the Black Panther costume, the chunky one, the thrice
Ugly.
blessed. I don't.
Ugly.
I don't love it.
Don't defend
But
it.
I like it. I like
kind
now.
of cool. It's like a medieval cost. It's like
Yeah.
medieval armor.
I think for the
Black
right
Panther.
team, like if you're using a very nimble team, it might be good. You get a little kind of beefier looking guy on there.
He'd lose so much speed.
He would, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not that
But
fast
I mean,
to begin
it's,
with.
it's about you want to make a nice, good-looking team. If you make you
It's
can make
true.
like a team that's like all like people wearing like medieval-looking
And
armor.
that-
That's that's pretty cool.
And that's something I will say as well. The
aesthetic,
the profile icon, like what you see in the bottom left of the screen for that costume, is really cool. I like the look of that.
Captain America's is the super soldier. Black
Okay.
Panther's the thrice blessed armor.
Right.
Iron Man's the extremis armor from Iron Man 3 in the classic comic book. And then, Ultimate Thor.
Uh-huh.
It just says Ultimate, but
Okay.
with
it's literally
Stormbreaker.
called Thrice Blessed.
Thrice blessed,
yeah, that's the name.
That's
And that one has a purple variant as well as like a kind of turquoise one. So I mean, Black Panther, he got bumped by Blade, but he's still my number 2 character.
Wow.
And I like that I have a few costumes that I can use for him now.
Yeah.
And then the Iron Man one, like honestly, it looks cool, but from afar, like when you're playing the game with the camera,
Nothing's
like you can't
different.
really tell.
I'm-
I will say the recolor is pretty nice for it.
I'm just so disappointed in that one because even the Black Panther one I don't like, but it's something different and they just spent the time of
Right.
it. Iron Man has so many fucking suits in comics, video games, animation, and they just went with, I get it, Extremis is a very popular comic book, but like Dylan said, from afar, there's not much different other than, okay, it's a fucking triangle arc
His
reactor.
like face is
they
different, but you
should
can't tell.
Yeah.
give him the rescue skin.
They rescued. They should have. They should have gave him. I'm surprised it wasn't War Machine.
War Machine
the
would've been
obvious one. Like there's just so many. You could
Confirmed
even,
War Machine new character.
even say whatever you want about the Marvel Avengers game, but they have the black and yellow one. That one's so sick. Like just something different. So that I was
Yeah.
really disappointed in the Iron Man
I
one.
do.
the
I will
most.
say the recolor is pretty nice at least.
Yeah. And then what was the fourth one? Oh, Ultimate Thor. The only reason I like that is because I don't love.
Have you got the recolor for that one? I think it's like reddish or something.
I don't think I bought
I got to
it.
take a look at it.
Yeah, I'll look at it and see. But yeah, I just wanted Stormbreaker. The second I heard them, like,
Yeah.
I get that. I love that. I like it just because I just think he's a bit too bulky in the game, and the game is cartoony. But I just feel like
He looks even bulkier with this skin.
See, I disagree because it's the cape and the shoulder
Okay,
pad.
yeah,
That's
I'll
what
give you
and
But I
his
feel like they
hair.
replaced the cape with just even more muscle.
But it's his
mass.
muscle at least,
He's
you know.
looking
Like
Kingpin.
I guess I like that Thor look, but that's still so old Thor. It's even just updated a little bit, but they didn't. They just went with almost like what he looks like in other Ultimate Alliance games. So I
They
like
just
this look.
Updated him too much, and then
For what, Ultimate?
Endgame Thor.
Well, that's what I wanted, honestly. I don't think they're gonna do movie costumes, or even Ragnarok
I could
Thor,
see
the
them
short
doing
hair.
that for Gamora, and I don't know who else, but at least Gamora, I could see them doing the MCU costume.
Yeah, I just don't know if it costs more licensing for them or something to use
Oh,
that
yeah.
exact costume.
Sure.
But yeah, I just like it because it's a bit more sleeker. I just think he's a little still too cartoony for me in the original game. So I'm going to be using the Ultimate Thor quite a bit, and also just Stormbreaker.
I do
that.
like this one a lot more than the Ultimate Alliance one, where he looks like some fucking 80s wrestler. One.
Nothing wrong with being an 80s wrestler.
wrestlers. Pretty cool.
And funny enough, Chris Hemsworth's going to be playing Hulk Hogan in a biopic. So
That's
speaking
cool.
about 80s wrestlers,
Biopic is
directed by the Todd Phillips, the Joker director, coming to
That's
Netflix.
so
Todd
cool.
Phillips.
Coming to Netflix.
Wow,
That is
right
sweet.
on.
Taylor,
That was really well
I was just going to say,
Brilliant.
even the little stuff I dislike, I just love this game, and I'm so excited for X-Men and Fantastic Four, and that was the other thing in the character select screen.
Right.
9 slots, so either we got 4 or 5, and they could add more because we didn't have this slot previously, right? So I really hope people are buying this DLC in this game because I want this to keep just chugging along until they say we're making a 4th game. Just keep going. Just keep Smash Ultimate. Just keep doing it. I will purchase all this stuff. Even if it is just more Gauntlet levels, I don't love them, but I'll fucking buy them and I'll play them. We've talked about this on the cast many times, but I think the route you got to go is 4 X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Doctor Doom. I think it will be fun to get if you get 5 X-Men, but I just think there's people out there like myself that like Fantastic Four but love Doctor Doom. I think Fantastic Four, especially lately, are a bit lower in popularity, so that alone goes, okay, they're the Marvel Classics. You throw Doom in there, that's a must-have DLC. And I think you look at Morbius, who knows with X-Men, they like doing villains, Loki, Thanos. So I think Doom it has to be. I'm not gonna say has to be, but I'm like 75% sure he's in there. So I can't wait for all DLC. I was very happy with the DLC.
Yeah, I'm still happy with it overall. Like the fact that the DLC is like $20-25 or something. The fact that this is like a third of that, I think, is amazing. I mean, I might even pay that much just for Blade alone. I fucking love that character so much. And then I think the only thing I haven't mentioned is they expand even just like the menu music. They gave new menu music for this DLC, and I really like it. And then they also the Alliance Enhancement grid. They added small little grids on the outside of all of them, so there's even more to upgrade now. Which is, makes sense. So when you increase the level cap, you got to give some incentive for people to level those characters up. So I think it's a good way to do it. And they have a couple in there that I really like. One is you can decrease the energy used for people flying around. So I really like that because I think that's the first thing in the game that I've seen that actually decreases that amount. So
that's good.
That was the first thing I went for, just so I can fly around for even longer. So.
That's going to be achievement in life one day when I have every single one of those hexagons bought and it's all full and colorful. I can't wait for that day.
Then they add more.
Yeah. They had a whole 8 of them, but
overall, it's just I like how gated this content is. There is some stuff there for people who are lower level, like with lower level gauntlets to get the new characters, but then there is a ton of content in there for later game stuff. And now I'm not caught up anymore. Like with the August update, it was good late game content, but I was able after a couple weeks of grinding to catch up. I don't know if I'll be able to catch up now at this point. Like this is like a lot of stuff.
If we didn't have the fall coming out, I could, but that's the problem.
If it wasn't October, the month of Outer Worlds, I might be able to do it. But yeah, and that's a good thing. It's good to have like those goals to work towards again, because I've mentioned before, this is a very goal-driven game, and I love that they just added so much more to it. So
and it's always fun to plug back in. You got something to do, So.
Yeah, and a good co-op game and a good 24-hour stream game. So
yeah, we'll definitely be busting out. It came out every other stream, so it'll definitely be busting out this time. I'll probably bring
staple.
Bring my own Switch though, so I can jump online and level up my Blade as well.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't blame you for that.
Anything else on Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
I will say I like the Iron Man skin. It reminds me of Iron Man 2.
Well,
I
that's
like
weird
because
it's a skin from Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
The triangle.
Yeah, I guess they did.
When he creates the new element at the end, he gets that triangle.
You can't
Stupid
see it in the game, though, really.
In the game, you can't see it?
Yeah, really.
That's a shame.
It's kind of hard to tell.
It's a shame.
Yeah.